Our next presenter is Team Cosmic Data Crew. Their team is a team of 14 people working towards cross matching between radio and optical catalogs using KD tree algorithm with the help of machine learning techniques. The objective is to detect and classify elliptical galaxies. I would like to invite Team Cosmic Data Crew to present their presentations, please.
A very warm good afternoon to one and all. I'm Shrutiji Panikar and I represent my team Cosmic Data Crew. This is a subgroup from astrophysics. So let me first take this opportunity to express our team's sincere gratitude to our mentor Sundar Sar for his valuable guidance and to Mr. Pavan for all his technical aids. Let me also thank our coordinators Pratik, Priyanka and our team coordinator Rutija for all their immense support throughout the internship. Most importantly, let me thank SSCRD, especially Mr. Mahesh, the internship division head, and the founders, Mrs. Nikita and Mr. Sujay, for providing us with this wonderful opportunity. So, this is our problem statement our team has been working. Cross matching between optical and radio catalogs for classification of elliptical galaxies using machine learning techniques. So, starting from an ice breaking session, we as a team had a wonderful time working together for all the challenges and difficulties we had in exploring our topics, and now we are here with our final project. So, these are the contents we'll be looking today. So, we'll start with the overview of galaxies. So, once again, let me welcome you all to dive in with us to explore our project.
Yeah, according to the astronomers, the entire universe was formed in a bubble which was so hot and dense that it exploded, and thus the stars, galaxies, and other bodies were formed. The time, space, matter, and all began from the Big Bang, and it is still expanding very rapidly. Now, in the next slide, we'll learn about the formation of galaxies and its constituents. A galaxy is a mixture of stars, interstellar gas, dust particles, etc. So now the question is how the galaxies were formed. So after the Big Bang, the stars were formed, and these stars formed a group of clusters, and a group of clusters formed a galaxy. And this is how our galaxy was. In the next slide, I'll explain about the classification of galaxies. So there are two theories that explain the classification of galaxies. One is Hubble's sequence, and the other is Dirac. Hubble classified the galaxy into two types, ellipticals and spirals, and it is represented by a tuning fork diagram, as you can see. Dave Atlas modified the Hubble sequence and further expanded the galaxies into intermediate types of galaxies, weak band and strong band galaxies. The galaxies of the classification of galaxies is done using the properties. So in the next slide, I'll explain about the properties. These are some basic properties of galaxies. Hubble used the ellipticity formula to classify the galaxies. Coming to the size, there are various methods to measure the size. One of the greatest Petrosian radius. The color of the galaxy is what the stars present in the galaxy. Like if the region is blue, it represents the new stars. And if the region is red, it represents the old stars. And the surface brightness is assessed by the density of stars, and it is an intrinsic property of the galaxy. Some of the properties that we use in our project are adaptive moments, color indices, Petrosian influx, and concentration index. So next slide. So these are the applications. There are two applications. Stellar population models. It includes age and metallicity of the galaxy's spectra. And next is a photometric redshift. In this, we can find out the color, luminosity, and magnitude of the galaxy. So these are the applications. Next is the challenges.
Hello everyone, myself Yashwini. I'm going to talk about the dataset part. So let me start with the data. Factual information such as measurement used as a basis for reasoning, discussion or calculation is called data. Data is nothing but information output by a sensing device like telescopes that are sensitive to a particular range of frequency. Now, astronomical catalogs. And astronomical data consist of information about astronomical objects that are grouped together since they share common origin or morphology. The advancement in technology has gone so far that we are now able to collect the data from the telescopes and work on them. The image you see on the right is of the telescopes, which collect petabytes of data every second. In the near future, SKA, that is Square Kilometre Array Telescope, is going to build in Australia, which will collect exabyte of data and solve mysteries of universe. These interferometers work so efficiently and so fast that all the meticulous calculations can be performed, which is impossible for a human to work on. Next slide. Multi-wavelength observation. As you can see, there are different kinds of wavelengths emitted by the galaxies. There's radio waves, infrared waves, optical rays, ultraviolet waves, and X-rays. These all collectively form an electromagnetic spectrum. Infrared detects the galaxies with smaller cool red stars, which takes up most of our night sky. Ultraviolet detects the larger hot blue stars, which are less frequent in the galaxies. X rays are emitted from the hottest regions of gas, where atoms are ionized. I'll talk about the optical and radio waves further in detail. In this project, we have selected the radio and optical catalogs for detection and classification of galaxies. The reason for choosing these two particular galaxies is shown in the next slide. Radio catalog. Radio waves are emitted by clouds of dust and molecules of gas. Due to this property of radio waves, we can come to know the amounts of gas or dust present in the galaxy. Since we know the amount of gas and dust present in the galaxy, we can classify the galaxy based on the Hubble's classification. You can see that the image on the right is of the magnificent telescope of GMRT, that is the Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope, which is situated in our own country, India. Next slide. Optical catalog. An optical telescope will tell you how bright the objects really are in the night sky. Optical telescopes has the advantage of producing sharp and high resolution images undisturbed by the atmosphere of the ground. Optical data for galaxies is widely available on the internet and even in huge amount from various sources like Sky Server, SGSS, Vizier, Kaggle, NASA, and many more. In our project, we particularly used the optical data set of galaxies from the 16th data release of SGSS, that is Sloan Digital Sky Survey. SGSS is a major multispectral imaging and spectroscopic redshift survey using a dedicated 2.5-meter wide-angle optical telescope at Apache Point Observatory in New Mexico, United States. Image on the right is a glimpse of it. After the data is collected, we had worked on our project and programming area. I would like to hand over the presentation to my next team member for further slides. Thank you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Vishnu. Yeah, so the problem statement which we chose is cross matching between two catalogs, that is optical and radio catalogs, to classify elliptical galaxies using machine learning techniques. So for that, what we did was we divided the problem statement into 3 or 4 stages. Next slide, please. Yeah, so what we did was we used Astropy module and KD tree data structure to finalize an efficient algorithm so that we could match these two catalogs. The main constraint which we had in our mind was using the time complexity. How can we reduce the time complexity so that we can land our best match, and the best match can be used to train for the ML model. Next slide. Yeah, so when we plan to cross match between the two catalogs, we first had this thought of using naive cross matcher. That is, we'll classify n galaxies with n galaxies, and then we'll see and we can get a best match. So, but the problem with that was the time complexity. The time complexity which we got in that way was n square. That was very huge. We couldn't afford that. So what we did was we moved to KD trees. Next slide. Yeah, so what is KD tree? KD tree is a special type of binary tree, or it is known as k-dimensional trees. That is, it is a space partitioning tree data structure for organizing points in a k-dimensional space. Next slide. Yeah, so using this KD tree, we were able to reduce the time complexity significantly. So as you can see in the picture in the left is a graph which was used by a naive cross matcher, and then here we used KD tree. So we were able to reduce the time complexity to n log n, which was very significant for us. Next slide. Yeah, now I request my teammate Vikram to continue.
So for plotting the redshift of the cross for the cross match data, we use the redshift as a parameter. What is redshift? Due to the Big Bang, the universe is constantly expanded, as we all know. Redshift is the apparent shift when photons are shifted to a lower frequency in the visible spectra. And as for the reason why we took redshift as our primary parameter, because it is the most consistent of all parameters for predicting how far is the galaxy away from us. The dataset which we used was Sloan Digital Sky Survey to get color indices of astronomical order, which is of different magnitudes. The inputs we used were color shift indices from photometric imaging. The algorithm we used were decision tree regression. The output which came was photometric redshift indices. The training set which we trained on was spectroscopic redshift indices. As for the most accurate redshift prediction, we use the median difference between the predicted data and the actual data, as median is the most consistent and accurate of the bunch, including mean, mode, and everything. Next slide.
So
As we
in the next iteration for the model improvement, we use the classification to approach our problem rather than the regression. The only difference here is our targets, our classes, rather than the real values. So the main feature that we used in our algorithm are ellipticity, adaptive moment, Petrosian flux, and the color indices. With including that, there are other parameters. And the algorithm that we used are decision tree classifiers. Coming to the elliptical galaxies. So elliptical galaxies are broader defined used by E0 to E7.
We use these elliptical galaxies because these galaxies were more easily classifiable by the model which we built, and these were ranging from E0, E1, E2, E3, E5, E6, and E7 according to the Hubble's classification. To get more elliptical galaxies and to get more fuzzy galaxies, we chose ellipticity as the parameter to classify them. The calculation of ellipticity was made by using the stroke parameters, which led us to the formula of calculating it through 1 minus b by a, where b and a are the radii of the ellipse that we have. And it was calculated through this, wherein en represent a ratio of 10 into e. Next slide. The algorithm which we used was the same, that is decision tree classifier. It basically gave us the output in terms of classes and not as a regression value, which was not as real integers. Decision tree basically takes into different types of features, as you can see, like the color indices over here, and compares and allocates produces outputs on the basis of the fact that which kind of decision was set true at that particular time, and ultimately gives us the output of the redshift. Next slide. We obtained our k-fold cross validation results, which were plotted by using the predicted redshift and the measured redshift. And our mean difference came out to be 0.014, which was a very good result. We also obtained the overfitting trees. Now, overfitting is a concept which will be studied as a future scope of this, because what happens with decision tree is that decision tree often are prone to overfit the data. Hence, a better future scope for our project to overcome this kind of overfitting and the diversion in the training and the test set, as you can see, was to remove the algorithm of decision tree and use a better and a new algorithm, random forest. Next slide. The results, although that were obtained with decision tree, led us to this confusion matrix, and we achieved an accuracy of almost 87%, which is a quite nice accuracy in terms of decision tree algorithm. The challenges that were observed in our data set working through this was a large amount of data set, wherein multivariate analysis with measurement and errors led different problems too. Measuring the galaxy redshift was another challenge, and analysis of patterns in galaxies, how to analyze them, and what parameters do we need to work upon was again a challenge for us. The star galaxy image classification and data analysis and cross identification. The main challenges which our crew focused upon was to improve the algorithm, the time complexity of the algorithm, and to include better routines, making our code more feasible so that it is compatible over all kind of environments, and to incorporate better data structures. A bigger challenge which we faced was to use random forest and apply its result to our dataset. Next slide. The conclusions which we get are: the radio catalog contained 36 360,000 image data, and the optical catalog contained 450,000 data set. The number of matches that we obtained were 370,000, and the accuracy was about 87%. On the right side, you can see the confusion matrix, which were the classification of the types of the galaxies and the number of galaxies that we accurately is classified. The future scope is the random forest. Now, individual decision trees are trained with different kinds of different subsets of feature. Now, our idea was to club those decision trees and make a forest out of them, so that one might be trained on a particular feature, say suppose eccentricity, and the other using the concatenation of fourth adaptive moment, which is another feature of a data set. By this way, we could greatly improve the accuracy to a next level. So these are the crew leads and the crewmates and our fun time activities, which we really enjoyed doing. Thanks a lot. Any questions?
You guys can post your questions in chat box or unmute yourself and speak.
Anisha, we have a question in the chat.
How are the total number of matches more than the total number of radio observations by R. Vasant Kashyap?
Can we move to the conclusion slide, please? I think Biswajit could best answer this. I would deliver the question to him.
Okay. Yeah, the answer is very simple actually. So suppose imagine just like this. In Earth, when we try to object any location, we always use latitude and longitude. But in case of our universe, we use something named as great circle. So that latitude and longitude is represented by some coordinate named as RA and DEC. RA is a right declination and DEC is the declination angle. So using that, we can specify the like how many number of the galaxy. So coming to the question, as you were asking, suppose in like why is the number are different and the matches is different. So as you can see in the radio catalog, if the number is 360532, in the optical 450, the case was something like this. When we try to put a point in some in the great circle, there in that particular coordinate or the RA and DEC, there were not only one galaxy, there were many other galaxies. So the answer is due to the number of galaxies in that particular coordinate. And so when we try to match, the RA DEC will be the same, but the galaxy ID was different. So that is why the value are different. And number of matches, so as you can see, the result decrease because like we have to be very specified on our classification on which galaxy we are choosing. We can't just be specified with other RA DEC values. So that is why the value changes.
I hope this answers your question. So thank you so much.